Hi everybody, welcome to week 4. Some great stuff went on during week 3, so I wanted to create a recap video slash housekeeping video to talk about some of the great things I've seen this week and to kind of get us moving forward into talking about our learning theories assignment, which is our first big assignment in the course, and to also talk about a couple of course reminders just to keep in mind. So let's start with our discussion board post recap. So I was checking in throughout the week to see how things were going, and what I saw was just amazing and excellent. I have gone through all of your discussion board posts so far, and I created a remix of some of the common themes or elements that you guys discussed. And I also created a Google document. I've linked in some extra information in there for you to research some of the points that you brought up that were not in the readings that I thought you might be interested in learning more about. So anytime I put a link like that into a document, it's always a good idea just to kind of skim it over. You don't have to spend too much time on it, but it's a good way to start getting you into the practice of developing your own teaching or developing your own learning and always learning more, right? So look out for that tomorrow. I will post it up on Schoology tomorrow. I just wanted to give you guys a shout out. You guys did such an excellent job. I'm so proud of you. I saw such great work. Anything ranging from poetry to a new Bloom's taxonomy to some great visuals and even some very logical explanations of Bloom's taxonomy and the New York Teaching Standards. So great job. If you haven't looked at more than just 3 of your course mates' work, definitely suggest you look at some more. You guys did an excellent job. One thing I did want to talk to you about is some of my observations on some of our behavior this week. So I kind of gave you the reins this week. I backed off a little bit and expected you to kind of figure out things on your own. And I know that can be very overwhelming and frustrating. And I definitely saw that in some of our email exchanges. So I wanted to talk to you, and I included some questions to consider on that Google Doc that I'll post tomorrow. When we're dealing with students who are reaching their zone of proximal development, so I talked about that in one of our last recaps, where students were expecting them to get to a certain point and maybe they're not quite there yet. So they become frustrated. So what are some of the behaviors that you might see from your future students when they're at a frustration moment? And also for yourself, how do you cope with frustration with your own learning? What are some coping mechanisms that you go back on or you rely on? What are some ways that you can think positively about your growth? Because we know most often when students are frustrated, they're growing. They're getting over that speed bump and going to the next level. So think about that in terms of yourself and in terms of yourself as a future educator, if that's the path that you're going down. How would you deal with a situation like that? How would you help your students overcome those frustrations? And speaking of communication, so excellent job again on reaching out to me with any questions that you have. I'm very impressed, and so is my director. She said you guys are doing a great job. So just a couple of reminders though for email. A lot of the time when I'm responding to your emails, I'm not directly in front of my computer, so I don't have quick, easy access to all of the course documents. So please make sure that you email me very specifically exactly what you're asking so I can give you a quick response. I'm pretty responsive to you unless it's after hours, so I try to be able to, I know your time is money, just like, you know, I try to respect your time. Let's just say it that way. So just be careful with those emails. And also remember that we're communicating with each other. So always some nice salutations like, hi, how are you? That always makes the exchange more pleasant, right, for both of us. And another thing that I observed in our discussion board post is APA formatting. So I know not always are we going to have discussion posts that include a written element. For this week, you did have the reflection. So think about that you should be bringing in information from the readings to back up your reflection or back up your points. So I did see that in a few posts. But also make sure that the formatting is in APA style. So not only your format, but also your citations. And to help with that, I've actually added an APA worksheet on Schoology. So there's a new folder entitled APA Worksheets. So just click on here. And I know we talked about worksheets and busy work, so but it might help you in trying to figure out how to cite. So you can take a look at that, and I'll give you a hint. It's actually linked to one of the readings you did last week, so maybe look that up. And again, as always, if you need extra citation help, the Writing Center or also Purdue OWL, which is like the #1 resource that we all use. And APA formatting is used across the board for most colleges of education, just in the education field. So now is a good time to get yourself acquainted with that if you know that's the career path that you're going to be going down. A new post will be up today for your discussion post, so look out for that. And grades for discussion board post 2 will be in hopefully by Friday of this week. I've already taken a look at everybody, so I just need to enter those grades and provide you some great feedback. All right, moving on. So our big assignment coming up in 2 weeks is our Learning Theories project. So the thing that you should be doing this week is go over the readings of Learning Theories and go over the Learning Theories infographic. So this was posted on the Learning Theories assignment, but one of your course mates mentioned that she couldn't really see it very well, which is a good point. So I did go ahead and link it into your course calendar. This is what it looks like. And when you first take a look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, what is going on? I know the first time I saw it in my doctoral studies, I thought the same thing. So don't let it intimidate you. Basically, it's a very thorough infographic of learning theories. So what are learning theories? You're going to learn about that this week. I do want to make a distinction, though, that learning theories are not learning styles. So you probably heard, oh, I'm a kinesthetic learner, or I'm an auditory learner. And there is some truth to that. There is some research out there now that says, well, maybe learning styles are not where we think of them. So I might post that reading for you guys to take a look at if you're interested as an optional reading. But learning theories are used to guide our understanding of what learning is and how people learn. So not all of these theories that you see on this infographic are always going to be used or discussed. Not everybody ascribes to these theories. For example, I ascribe to social constructivism. So if you look at the overview reading for this week of learning theories, it's going to talk about the 3 major ones. So there's behaviorism, cognitivism, or cognitive constructivism. It depends on what researcher you're looking at, and then social constructivism. So this is the area that I find myself in most. But as an educator, you might find that at times you might ascribe more to behaviorism, or more to cognitivism, or more to social constructivism, or all 3. So they don't always have to dictate how you teach. You might move back and forth between the theories, but it's a good idea to become familiar with all 3 of them. And when you're doing this assignment, you don't have to stick to the major 3. If you're interested in one like multiple intelligences, or scaffolding, or zone of proximal development, which we just talked about, you're welcome to choose any of those. Just make sure that you indicate it on the Learning Theories discussion board, not on discussion board post 3, please. And once you've decided what you want to do and I take a look at it, I'm trying to see if we can get a good variety of them, but if more than one person wants to do the same one, I guess that's okay, but we'll take a look at that as the week progresses. So after you've chosen your learning theory, next week you're going to create a 3-minute lesson to teach the class about your learning theory. So this can be done in a variety of ways. I don't really just want a brochure or a file put up on the discussion board or on the assignment. I would prefer either a narrated slide or a video, just so you're getting some practice of teaching. And after this initial presentation, I would like us to provide feedback to each other to see what we think we went well and what didn't go well, so we can start to prepare ourselves for lesson planning that we're going to discuss in preparation for our 7-minute lesson. And it's also good practice. We talked about professional development and teacher reflection, so this would be a great opportunity for you to do that before we attempt a larger lesson. So a couple of resources that you could use for this. Of course, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with all kinds of digital tools, so choose from any that you like, but there's two that I would recommend. The first one is Animaker. That's the one that I used to create your remix this week. I will say it's not always easy to use. It does take some figuring out. Some of the features are not enabled if you do not buy, advanced plans. So don't do that. You can still use it. Again, you're kind of limited in some things you can do, but it's still fun to play around with. So see if you like it. Don't waste too much time on it if it doesn't work though, because I did that last night. And then another great tool for me, let's say that you want to do like an online brochure, or you made a drawing or something like that, and you didn't want to do a video, like a one-to-one video. What you can do is use a tool called Screencast-O-Matic, so you can actually cast your screen like I'm doing now, and you can choose to have the webcam enabled on you and the screen, so you can see here you have the features of screen, web camera, both. It's totally free to use. You have up to 15 minutes of recording time, so you don't have to do any upgrades or anything like that. And once you're done recording, you can upload it automatically to YouTube. You get your own link and you share the link for your presentation. The only challenge that I've had with this program is kind of hard to edit. So you could use YouTube Editor later on if you want to do that. Again, so just suggestions, but whatever you're comfortable with, feel free to use. But think about, you do want to actually be teaching, so don't just upload a file for me. Upload some sort of either narrated slide or video that could include, something very creative. That's totally fine, and I definitely encourage that. I had such a great time looking at your posts this week. A couple of reminders, housekeeping tips. You should actively be doing your observations at this point. I only see a few people have confirmed your observation sites on our Google Doc. So if we go back to the course on Schoology, you will find an education confirmation form. So I only see a few people have entered their actual sites there. So please either update that if you just kind of overlooked that, or let me know, look, I'm having difficulty finding a site. I haven't heard back from anybody. Kind of let me know where you're at, please, since that assignment will be coming up soon, sooner than you know it, and you definitely don't want to have any difficulties finishing that assignment. So please reach out to me as soon as possible if you have any issues, and I could talk to my director. Again, I mentioned before about placement. So again, to recap, I will put the remix up tomorrow. A new discussion post assignment will be up today. Grades should be in by Friday. Go ahead and get started on your learning theories assignment by posting which learning theory you're interested in doing, and start thinking about what platform you would like to use in order to create your 3-minute lesson. And remember to let me know, update me on your observations, okay? Excellent work, guys. Super proud of you. Great week, and I look forward to all your great work to come. Everybody take care.